Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are preparing for a Money Stack interview, you have come to the right place. In this video, we will go through some of the most important Money Stack interview questions covering MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js. I will not just give you the answer but also explain them in a simple way, easy to understand way, just like how you should present them in an actual interview. So, whether you are a beginner looking for your first job or an experienced developer brushing up on your skill, this video will help you confidently answer money stack questions in any interview. Alright, let's jump into our first question. What is the money stack? The money stack is a JavaScript based technology stack used for building full stack web applications. It includes MongoDB, a NoSQL database for storing data, and Express.js, a web application framework for Node.js, React.js, a JavaScript library for building user interfaces, and Node.js, a JavaScript runtime for executing server-side code. Since MERN is such a popular stack, you might be wondering why should we use it? So let's move on to our next question. What are the advantages of using the MERN stack? MERN has several advantages that make it a great choice for modern web applications. First, full JavaScript stack. Both front-end and back-end use JavaScript, making development easier. Second, high performance and scalability, thanks to technologies like Node.js and MongoDB. Third one is component-based architecture. React allows reusable UI components, making it easier to find solutions and resources. Now that we understand why money is beneficial, let's break it down and discuss each component starting with MongoDB. So, what is MongoDB and why is it used in MERN? MongoDB is a NoSQL database that stores data in a flexible JSON-like format. It is used in the MERN stack because it is highly scalable and can handle large amount of data. It has a schema-less structure, making it more flexible than SQL databases. Third, it supports horizontal scaling, making it a great choice for big applications. Okay? Speaking of databases, interviewers often ask about the difference between SQL and NoSQL databases. So let's take a look. So what are the key differences between SQL and NoSQL databases? Okay? So I will give you the answer in a data format. Okay? So now we will talk about the features of SQL databases and NoSQL databases like MongoDB. So first one is structure. SQL databases uses tables with fixed schemas, while NoSQL databases uses flexible schema, stores data as JSON documents. Second point is scalability. In SQL databases, it scales vertically, adding more power to a single server, while in NoSQL databases, it scales horizontally, adding more servers. Now let's see what are they based for. So, SQL database is based for structured data with relationship, while NoSQL databases is based for unstructured or semi-structured data. Okay. Now let's move on to the second technology in MERN Express.js. So what is Express.js and what are its key features? Express.js is a minimalist web framework for Node.js. Its key features include middleware support, allows request response handling. Second, routing system helps manage different endpoints in an application. Third is integration with MongoDB makes database operations easier. Next up, let's talk about React, the front-end powerhouse of the MERN stack. So the question is, what is React.js and why is it used in MERN? React.js is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. It is used in the MERN stack because it uses a virtual DOM for fast and efficient UI updates. Second, it follows a component-based architecture, making code reusable and scalable. Third is, it supports state management using hooks, use state and use effect, or libraries like Redux. Now that we have covered React, let's shift our focus to the backend again and discuss Node.js. So, What is Node.js and why is it important in the MERN stack? Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome's V8 engine. It is important in the MERN stack because it enables JavaScript to run on the server side. It uses an event-driven, non-blocking input-output model, making it highly scalable. And last, it allows for real-time applications like chat apps and live notification. Next, let's talk about security. A crucial aspect of MERN applications is authentication. Let's see how it works. How does authentication work in a MERN stack application? Authentication is typically implemented using JWT, JSON Web Tokens. Okay. So first, the user logins and receives a JWT token. Second, the token is stored in a local storage or HTTP only cookies. And third, on protected routes, the server validates the token before allowing access. Now, let's switch back to the front end and discuss React hooks, a popular interview topic. So, what are React hooks? React hooks are functions that let you use state and lifecycle method in functional components. Some common hooks include use state, manages state in a functional component. Second, use effect, run side effects like API calls. And third, use context, allows state management without prop drilling. Now let's wrap up this set of questions with a key topic in Express.js middleware. So, what is middleware in Express.js? Middleware function execute during the request response cycle. There are different types. First, application level middleware used for authentication checks. Second, router level middleware applied to specific routes. And third, error handling middleware used to manage error in the apps. So next question is, what is the virtual DOM in React? The virtual DOM is a lightweight copy of the actual DOM. React uses it to efficiently update the UI. When there is a change, React first updates the virtual DOM instead of the modifying the actual DOM directly. Then React compares the virtual DOM with the previous version using a process called reconciliation. Finally, only the changed parts are updated in the real DOM, making the UI updates faster and smoother. Since React updates the UI dynamically, managing state is crucial. Let's talk about that next. What is state management in React? State management in React helps store and manage data inside components. It can be done using use state for managing local component state. Second, context API for global state management without prop drilling. Third, Redux for handling complex applications wide state. Now, how does a MERN application communicate between the front end and back end? That's where REST APIs come in. So, what is REST API and how is it used in MERN? A REST API, representational state transfer API, is a set of rules for building web services using HTTP methods. First, get, retrieve data. Second, post, send new data. Third, put, page, update existing data. And last, delete, remove data. In a MERN application, REST APIs are created using Express.js on the backend, allowing React front end to communicate with Node.js and MongoDB. But sometimes, accessing resources from different origins can be an issue. That's where CORS comes into play. So, what is CORS and why is it needed? CORS, cross-origin resource sharing, allows web applications to request resources from a different origin, domain, protocol, or port. By default, browsers block cross-origin requests for security reasons to enable CORS in an Express.js server. Now let's move on to an important concept, client-side versus server-side rendering. So, what's the difference between client-side rendering and server-side rendering? So, we will understand this in a tabular form, okay? So, the first feature is where UI is rendered. So, in the client-side rendering in the browser, while in the server-side rendering on the server. If we talk about the performance, then in the client-side rendering, slower initial load, but faster interaction. And while server-side rendering, faster initial load, good for SEO. And the last, SEO in the client-side rendering is poor and server-side rendering is excellent. React primarily uses CSR, but frameworks like Next.js allow SSR for better performance. Now let's move to the database layer and talk about CRUD operation in MongoDB. Okay? So, what are CRUD operations in MongoDB? CRUD stands for create, read, update, delete, which are the four fundamental operations in MongoDB. So, first create, it insert new data. Second, read, it retrieve data. Okay. Third one is update, it modify existing data. And the last, delete, it removes the data. Now that we know how data is stored, how do we connect React means front end with Node.js backend? So to connect React with Node.js, we use HTTP request via Axios and Fetch API. Okay. For large applications, we need better state management. That's where Redux come in. So what is Redux and how is it used in a one application? Redux is a state management library used in large React applications. It stores the global state in a centralized store. Components dispatch actions to update the store. And third, the reducer modifies the state based on the action. Now let's discuss an important concept in React, control versus uncontrolled components. So let's talk about the features. So first is data storage. In controlled components, it is managed by React, while in uncontrolled components, it is managed by the DOM. Now let's talk about the access. Then in control components, it uses use state, while uncontrolled components uses rep. Okay. Finally, let's wrap up this session with how React handles form. React handles forms using control components where form inputs are managed via state and event handlers. Now let's move to the next question. What are higher order components, HOCs, in React? Higher order components are a design pattern in React where one component wraps another component to add extra features. Think of it like a decorator. Instead of modifying the original component, we create a function that enhances it by adding new props or logic. For example, imagine you have a simple button component. Instead of modifying it directly, an HOC could enhance it by adding a loading state or permissions check before displaying it. Now that we have talked about adding features to React components, let's switch gears to handling error in Express.js. So, how do you perform error handling in Express.js? In Express.js, error handling is done using special middleware functions that catch and manage errors before sending responses to users. These middleware functions take four arguments: error, request, response, and next. Imagine you are running a restaurant and an order comes in. If something goes wrong, maybe an ingredient is missing, the safe middleware handles it before the dish reaches the customer. Now let's move to MongoDB and talk about Mongoose, a tool that makes working with databases much easier. So, what is Mongoose and how does it help in MongoDB? Mongoose is an ODM, object document mapping library for MongoDB. It acts as a bridge between applications and the database buyer, defining a structure schema for documents, handling data validation automatically, providing query building capabilities that simplify database interaction. Now think of Mongoose as a translator. Instead of dealing directly with raw databases command, you work with structured object data easier to manage. Now let's move back to React and talk about a very important concept, side effects in functional components. So how does use effect work in React? The use effect hook is used in functional components to handle side effects like fetching data from an API, updating the document title, setting up event listeners. It replaces lifecycle method like component did mount, component did update, and component will unmount in class components. Imagine you are setting an alarm in the morning. Use effect ensure that the alarm rings when it's supposed to and gets removed when it's no longer needed. Speaking of hooks, another useful one is use ref. Let's discuss that next. So, what's the purpose of use ref in React? Use ref is like a sticky note in a React component. It stores values that don't trigger re-renders when updated. It is commonly used for accessing DOM elements like focusing an input field, storing previous values between renders, keeping track of timeouts and intervals. Now let's go back to MongoDB and talk about pagination and essential techniques when handling large dataset. So how do we implement pagination in MongoDB? Pagination is the process of splitting data into pages instead of loading everything at once. MongoDB uses skip. It ignores a certain number of documents and a limit. It restricts the number of documents returned. Think of it like flipping through the pages of a book. You don't read everything at once, but go page by page. Okay? Now let's move on to security and talk about JSON Web Tokens. So, what is JSON Web Token and how is it used? JWT is a secure way to handle authentication in web application. Okay, a user logins and the server creates a JWT token with user detail. That token is sent to the client and stored in a local storage or cookies. And then for protected routes, the server verifies the token before allowing access. Think of it like a boarding pass. Once issued, you can enter the airport without showing your ID every time. Now let's talk about how Node.js handles multiple tasks efficiently using an event-driven architecture. So, what is event-driven architecture in Node.js? Node.js follows an event-driven architecture, meaning it doesn't wait for one task to finish before starting another. Instead, it listens for events like user actions, file reads, or API calls. It executes callbacks when the event occurs. And the last, it uses an event loop to keep the application running without blocking other tasks. Imagine a restaurant where the chef takes multiple orders at once instead of cooking one dish at a time. This makes things much faster and more efficient. Now, once we build a one application, how do we deploy it? So there are several platforms to host and deploy a Monstack app. The first one is front-end React, deployed on Netlify, Vercel, and AWS S3. Second, backend Node.js plus Express, deployed on Heroku, AWS, or DigitalOcean. And third is database MongoDB, hosted on MongoDB Atlas. Deployment is like opening a restaurant. You build everything locally first, then find a location hosting service where customer users can access it. Finally, let's talk about real-time communication using WebSockets. WebSockets allow real-time communication between the client and the server. Unlike normal HTTP requests that end after a response, WebSockets keep a continuous connection open. Think of it like a phone call. Instead of sending separate messages back and forth, both parties stay connected and communicate instantly. In MUN applications, WebSockets are used for live chat applications, real-time notifications, collaborative tools like Google Docs. Let's move to the next question. What are React fragments and why are they useful? React fragments allow you to group multiple elements without adding extra nodes to the DOM. Normally, React requires components to return a single parent element. If you don't want an unnecessary div tag, you can use fragment instead. Imagine you are packing a suitcase but don't want extra boxes inside. Fragments help keep the DOM clean while still organizing multiple elements together. Now let's talk about something crucial for production-ready application security. So, how do you secure Monstack application? Security is critical for web applications and here are some best practices. Use HTTPS encrypts data transfer between client and server. Second, Validate and sanitize user input. Prevents attack like SQL injection and XSS. Third, implement authentication and authorization. Use JWTs, auth or session-based authentication. Third, implement authentication and authorization. Use JWTs, auth or session-based authentication. Fourth, use environment variables. Store sensitive data, APIs key, database credential in .environment files instead of hard coding them. Now let's discuss an important difference in REST APIs, put versus fetch request. So what's the difference between put and fetch request in APIs? Both put and fetch are used to update data in a REST API, but they work differently. Put updates the entire resource. If a field is missing, it gets replaced or removed. Fetch applies partial updates, modifying only the specific fields provided. Think of it like updating your contact information. Put would rewrite the entire contact name, phone, email, and fetch would change only the phone number, leaving other details unchanged. Now let's move back to React and talk about performance optimization with use callback and use memo. So, what's the difference between use callback and use memo in React? Both use callback and use memo help optimize performance by avoiding unnecessary re-renders, but they serve different purposes. First, use callback memoizes functions, preventing them from being recreated on every render. Second, use memo memoizes values, avoiding expensive calculations. Imagine a calculator app. Use memo would store a previous result to avoid recalculating. Second, use callback would reuse a function that performs a calculation instead of redefining it. Now let's switch back to express.js and talk about roots. So what are express.js roots and how are they defined? In express.js, roots define how the server handles incoming HTTP request. They determine what happens when a user visits different URLs like app.get, fetches user, app.post, adds a new user, app.put, updates a user, app.delete, deletes a user. Think of routes as road signs. They tell the server where to go when handling requests. Now, speaking of security, let's discuss a useful tool for managing environment variables. So, what's the purpose of .env in Node.js? .env is a package that loads environment variables from a .env file into process.env in Node.js. This helps store sensitive information like database connection URLs, API keys, authentication secrets. Using .env is like keeping passwords in a safe instead of writing them on a sticky note. It prevents accidental exposure in public repositories. Now let's move on to handling file uploads in a Monstack application. So how do you handle file uploads in a Monstack application? File uploads in MERN are handled using the Multer middleware in Express.js. Multer processes multi-part form data, which is required for uploading files like images, documents, or videos. Think of Multer as a mail sorter. It processes incoming files and stores them in a designated folder or database. Now let's go back to React and talk about client-side routing with React Router. So, what is React Router and why is it used? React Router is a library for handling navigation in React applications without reloading the page. It allows users to switch between pages seamlessly using routes like home, about, contact. Without React Router, every navigation would reload the entire page, making the experience slow and inefficient. Now let's talk about managing complex state using the use reducer hook. Use reducer is an alternative to use state for managing complex state logic. Instead of calling set state directly, You dispatch actions that update the state through a reducer function. Think of use reducer like a to-do list manager. Instead of updating tasks manually, you send instructions like add task or mark task as done. And the manager reducer handles the update. Finally, let's wrap up with some best practices for optimizing MongoDB performance. Finally, let's wrap up with some best practices for optimizing MongoDB performance. So, what are the best practices for optimizing MongoDB performance? To keep MongoDB fast and efficient, follow these best practices. First, use indexes. Speed up search queries by indexing fields. Second, optimize queries. Use projection to fetch only necessary data. Third, use connection pooling. Reuse database connections instead of opening new ones. Third, avoid unnecessary data nesting. Flatten documents when deep nesting isn't needed. Think of MongoDB like a library. If books are indexed and categorized properly, finding information becomes much faster. Now let's move to the next question. How do you optimize React applications for performance? So, performance optimization is crucial for React application, and here are few best practices. First, use React.memo to prevent unnecessary re-renders by memoizing components. Second, implement lazy loading, loads component only when needed using React.lazy. And third, use should component update for class components, ensures a component re-renders only when required. So, think of this like a well managed restaurant. Instead of serving all dishes at once, they are prepared and served only when customers order them. Now, let's discuss two major authentication strategies, session based and token based. So, what's the difference between session based and token based authentication? Authentication ensures that users are who they claim to be, and it can be handled in two ways. First, session based authentication. Users logs in and the server stores session data like login status in memory. Then the session ID is sent to the client via cookie. And last, this method requires server side storage. Now, token based authentication JWT. User logs in and the server generates a JWT JSON Web Token. The token is sent to the client and must be included in every request. The server doesn't store session data, making it scalable. So think of session based authentication like a cloak room. You get a session ID and must return it every time. JWT is more like a VIP pass. Once issued, you just show it wherever needed. Now let's move to databases and discuss ORM, Object Relational Mappers. So what is an ORM and why is Mongoose considered one? An ORM, Object Relational Mapper, allows developers to interact with databases using objects instead of raw queries. Mongoose is an ODM, Object Document Mapper, for MongoDB, which helps with schema definition, defining the structure of documents, data validation, ensuring only valid data is saved, and third, simplified queries. Instead of writing complex MongoDB commands, we use methods like .find, .save, and .update one. Next, let's talk about managing environment variables in a MUN application. So, how do you manage environment variables in a MUN app? Environment variables store sensitive information like API keys, database credentials, and secrets. In a MUN stack app, we use the .env package to load these variables from a .env file. It prevents exposing credentials in code, keeps configuration flexible across different environments, development, testing, production. Think of .env file like a locker for secret codes. Your app reads the code when needed, but they are never visible to the public. Now let's talk about pagination techniques. So, how does server-side pagination differ from client-side pagination? Pagination helps display large datasets efficiently, and there are two main approaches. Client-side pagination. It loads all the data at once and split it into pages on the front end. Second, suitable for a small data set but bad for performance when handling large data. Second is server-side pagination. It fetches only the required records from the database using dot limit and dot skip. Second, ideal for handling millions of records efficiently. Think of client-side pagination like downloading an entire book to read a single chapter, while serving-side pagination is like fetching only the pages you need. Now let's discuss two important asynchronous functions in Node.js, settle mediate and process.nextTick. Okay? So what's the difference between settle mediate and process.nextTick in Node.js? Both settle mediate and process.nextTick schedule asynchronous tasks but they run at different times. Settle mediate executes the callback in the next event loop cycle and process.nextTick runs the collab immediately after the current operation before input-output events. So think of process.nextTick as skipping the queue to execute immediately while settle mediate waits its turn in the event loop. Now let's simplify async await in JavaScript. Async await makes asynchronous code easier to read and maintain compared to callbacks and promises. Async marks a function as asynchronous. Await pauses execution until the promise resolves. Think of async await as ordering food in a restaurant. You place an order, await, and instead of constantly checking, the waiter informs you when it's ready. Next, let's talk about JWT authentication. JWT, JSON Web Token, is a secure way to store and transfer authentication data. After logging in, the server generates a JWT token containing user info. This token is sent with every request for authentication. The server validates the token without needing to store sessions. Think of a JWT like a movie ticket. Once issued, you saw it at the entrance without needing to check in again. Now let's discuss Babel's role in React applications. So, what is the role of Babel in React application? Babel is a JavaScript compiler that translates modern JavaScript ES6 Plus into browser compatible versions. It supports JSX transformation for React. It ensures cross-browser compatibility. It helps developers use the latest JS feature without breaking older browsers. Think of Babel as a translator that converts a modern script into a language that all browsers understand. Finally, let's talk about microservices and their role in one application. So, what are microservices and can they be implemented in a one-stack application? So, microservices break an application into smaller, independent services that communicate via APIs. It improves scalability and fault tolerance. Each service can be developed and deployed separately. It reduces complexity in large applications. In a money stack, you can create separate audio Node.js services for authentication, data processing, notification, etc. Think of microservices like food stall in a mall. Each one operates independently but works together to provide a complete experience. And that's wrap up for today's Money Stack interview questions. We covered performance optimization, authentication strategies, ORMs, pagination, async await, JWT, Babel, and microservices. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you have more questions in the comments. See you in the next video.